If you wanted your players to get set on fire, for them to actually feel like they're burning alive, like this, well, I'm gonna show you how. To get started, you'll need a few things: lights, fire VFX, and Monk's active tiles. Monk's active tiles will do the bulk of the listing for us, and we'll also need a blank PNG image to make the tile invisible. So if we have a look at the tile here that I have already created, if I double click it and I come across to triggers, you can see that when entered, and when I go to actions, I have run my visual effects macro, which is the FX token magic FX pack. I have a sound effect that I have purchased from Epidemic Sound. This is optional, but having some kind of fire effect will help the players feel like they're being set on fire. And I lastly have adding the burning condition as well. Right now, when you make a tile, by default, you'll come over to tile controls, and I will place a tile like such. And we are going to get this tile creator here. We can go to triggers. We can go to when entered, actions, add an action, and I can simply go down to active effect. The token is burning. Add. I can then do add effects. I can then search for a macro. So I can run macro. I'm then going to search for my fire macro. And this works for any macros you have set up, so it doesn't necessarily have to be a visual effect, but you could do it with a custom macro you have made or a script. And I can click update, and then I can finally add a sound. So I can go to add, and I can go to play sound file. Then I can search for my files. So I have a bunch of sound effects. I can go to my ablaze sound effect and hit save, and then hit update and hit create. And now if I walk her into the token, she gets set on fire and the sound effect plays. So there's a lot you can do with these active tiles. So we need a level of polish and a level of immersion to make this really feel like it's in the world, without it feeling like there's a grey blob on the map. So if I come and have a look at the one I already had set up here, as you can see, I have it all set up. I have for my image, I have an empty PNG. You can go and make that in something like Photoshop or Critter or Photopea online, but you need an empty image and add that in just so it is completely invisible. So we have our damage effect here. I then have a bunch of fire FX, some GIFs, animated GIFs that I can layer on top, and then finally I have some lights. Now lights just help add a bit of depth to the scene. So now if I come to here, to my tiles, I select all of this, and then we plop it into our scene, and we get our lights. We have a nice ambience and immersive fire effects. Now you aren't limited to just doing this with fire. You could do lightning, you could do acid, you could do trapdoors, but it's a very simple way to add a nice bit of fire immersion. But there's more. We can make this a modular trap, so you don't have to set this same thing up over and over and over and over. And to do that, we'll need to use something called mass edit. And mass edit allows us to clump things together, clump tools together, and then we can make a modular trap. I mean, Baileywiki has done loads of videos on these, and they get very complicated, and you can do a lot with them. But if I do Control Z and I bring all of this back over, so we get our fire, fire, and our trap. Now with mass edit enabled, if I hit Shift and Q I will get the mass edit linker. That's Shift and Q to do that, and I will get this mass edit linker. Now, what this does is it allows us to attach stuff together to then make it an asset we can then drag and drop onto the world. So if you have something like Droid Cartographer's map asset packs, which is where this map tile is from, they all are built in this same way. So you can do a lot of cool stuff with it. So I'm going to start by having my trap set up here, and I'm going to bring all of my flames and fire over to it, and I'm then going to grab my lights. If you hold shift, I can free place these, which is what I'm going to do. And then in mass edit, I'm going to left click, and what that will do is it will create an initial link point, and it's saying, hey, I want to make something, right? I want to link something. And what we can do is I can use this top tool to select and add individual components. So, for example, if I click now, it will add my light, and you can see that it's added the light. But if I come to add multi-layer, and then we drag a box, it will then select everything in this component. So now, if I left click on the link to make it yellow, we now have this asset. So if I come to my tile tool now and I click on it and I move it, all of it moves together. Okay, so you might be thinking, that's cool, Ben. So what? Right, so what? Well, if I open in Foundry 13 and up, if I open the mass edit presets, we will get the preset browser. As you can see, I've got the Droid Cartographer, Modular Maps, and Starships. But if we make our own folder here, and we call these traps, and I hit enter, what I can do is I can click and drag and drop this in. Do you want to add these 5 selected? Yes. I'll click yes. We'll give this a name, and I'll call this like medium fire, and hit apply. So now we get this medium fire asset, and I'm going to drag it into my traps folder. So now, when I'm making my maps, I can simply drag this in and go boop. And now we could have loads of fire traps all over the place. And it's bringing all of that logic with it. It's bringing all of that logic with it. So now if I grab Shen and we run her through the bridge again, plays the sound, plays the sound, plays the sound, plays the sound, and of course it would also set her on fire and do the ablaze condition each time. So you can really do some extra cool stuff with that. So give it a go, let me know what you think.